Well, what's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog. A little technical delay. Your girl been on sabbatical, so we be trying to come through. Listen, I put this also in my series, Wartime CEO. I'm gonna put him in my series, y'all. This is technically it falls under this branch, but I put his title as anti guru. Thoughts on living in a dangerous city, making money in the future of 2024. None other than Mr. Malik Carter. One of my best photos is me wearing his hoodie he made, and people ask me to this day, "Where your hoodie at, Erica?" That ain't my hoodie, baby. I ain't make that.
I gotta bring it back out.
You gotta bring it back out for the winter. So introduce yourself to the audience. Tell them who you is.
Hey, what's up? This is Malik, real estate coach Carter on Instagram, and real estate investor first, and investor in other things that I stopped talking about online because people do not listen. And so, but real estate guy here in Philadelphia, and just a concerned world citizen.
Everybody drop your city state in the chat. Help us out. Give us some energy here. Give us some vibes. You're in Philly, and what's funny is the Roots concert just came through. And I be always talking that smack about Philly, but I was like fighting it. I was like, should I go? It's so many good people there. So you just celebrated birthday. So happy birthday. Thank you for your time. How was
Appreciate
that
it.
Roots Festival?
So listen, I didn't even go to the concert. I was out in the street a
Boo.
little bit, but did not. You know what? Last year was the year I think I really wanted to go, and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up going on vacation. And this year I thought about it, but let me tell you why I didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I didn't go is because I looked at the Instagram of all the past concerts, and I didn't see not one chair. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm not. I don't. I'm not
They
really
got the
interested in.
blankets. You want to sit on the
Yeah,
ground?
not for 2 days. Not for 2 days. If we out there for 2 3 hours, all right, I can do it. I just turned 46. I'm not finna be out there in somebody's grass for 2 days,
Come on, man.
and it was hot. So no, that's the reason why I didn't go, and I didn't feel the urge to spend $1,300 for the VIP tickets. You know,
Listen, yeah, I can't do the lines anymore. Like, I want to go straight to where I gotta go. I want to be near water, near a bathroom. Give me the VIP access. And so, that was part of my issue. I was like, $1,000.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
I mean,
Like,
here's
I
the
want
thing,
to go,
right?
but I don't want to go.
For all of those acts for 2 days, if you're a concert person, but
Mm-hmm.
I know me. By the time I get something to eat and get something to drink, like have a few drinks, I'm a wrap. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. I'm not going to be there all day,
Oh, for sure,
right?
for sure.
And so I'm never going to get $1,000 value out of that. I'm never going to
Well,
do it.
and out of all those acts, you won't see them a lot of places for sure. Like I just looked at the list and I was like, well, maybe I can see them in Sonoma, California. They're gonna do the Blue Note, Jazz Festival. Or I'm gonna see them somewhere. You're not gonna catch a lot of those folks, but it is
But
the year everybody outside.
last year they bodied it, like Usher headline one day, and the other
Hmm.
day Lauryn Hill headline, and that was the Fuji's reunion. So that you're never going to see that.
Hmm.
That's like what 20 years in the making. So and
And now her son out with that hit song.
her son got a hit, but then
Hmm.
also the backyard band backed up Scarface on his set. That was crazy. Like I saw snippets of that, and of course Backyard being the biggest go-go band ever in history, playing
Hmm.
with Scarface songs with a go-go undertone. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was things you're never gonna see anywhere else, and so
Yeah.
that's why it's worth going. But like I said, I know me. After like 2 3 hours, I'm like, all right, time to go.
So there was it's coming up this weekend. I think it's Capital City Jazz Fest. It's in between Baltimore,
So
Maryland,
I
DC.
went to that. I went to that last year. I
Uh-huh.
did go to that.
Man,
So
I saw it. I was like, well, they got chairs. You can sit down. No.
that is different. So one of my closest friends manages the Hamilton, and
Hmm.
so I went with them. So I was backstage the whole time, right? So
Dang. Okay,
that
baller.
experience. That was a different experience. Like being, they had plenty of chairs,
Hmm.
free food, free drinks. I'm saying so that was a vibe being backstage. Everybody was friendly except Keisha Cole. She's the only one that was not friendly back there.
Oh,
Yeah, but it
listen.
was a cool
Have
vibe.
you heard her
So
song? She sounds unhappy. I don't know how you can be happy and sing unhappy all day long. Okay.
yeah,
Uh,
Capital City Jazz Fest. But yeah, that was Kick Your Pre, body that last year.
for sure, for sure. So you already know what I'm gonna ask you. What is going on with Philly, man? One day I see news, y'all
Hmm.
the best thing popping. Look, come get a sandwich. Come look at all the new construction. The next thing I look up, our Germantown be showing new construction. They're tearing down a building, building something new. And then I
Hmm.
look up, it's
Hmm.
block, 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 block. What's going on?
So so it's a few things, right? So
Mhm,
one, Philadelphia is the poorest big city in the country, right? We have more people in poverty out of any of the large cities. Philadelphia was the fifth largest. Now Phoenix overtook us as the fifth largest, and San Antonio by next census is going to be the sixth largest, and Philly will be the seventh largest. So we're still be in the top 10, but San Antonio is growing like crazy. And so there's so what's happening is there's more violence in smaller pockets, right?
mhm,
The gentrification is real, but
mhm.
Philly's a city in neighborhoods, actually, city of blocks more so. So even the wealthy people damn near live in the hood. Like it's $1 million houses, like, but it's tough. But the area that everybody talk about with the heroin, like even that area is seeing spikes in new construction. The new mayor, Sherelle Parker, she's doing her best to try to clear that area out. I
I
think
saw
it's
it on
really going to
news.
be tough. But when you think when you think about gun violence, right? Not just in
Mhm,
Philadelphia. When you think about it, everywhere, all the inner cities across America, right? You have the ease of access to guns, right? So you
mhm.
have a 16-year-old with a Glock with a switch on it who's probably in poverty and angry, not a lot to lose. Frontal lobe isn't developed,
Yep.
and then a lot of them are on drugs. They're not smoking marijuana. They're taking
Yeah.
Percocet. They
Mhm,
sipping lean. They got hard drugs, and
mhm.
then you got to be like, man, if I get into a fight, like who was going to shoot first? So there's a lot of different factors, and the reason why gun violence is what it is, right? So crime as a whole is lower. It's just gun violence is higher. So we're lower like 30%. So it's like 30% less shootings at this time of the year
Mhm.
as it was last year. But also you got the ghost guns. Like ghost guns is a whole new thing. Ghost guns wasn't around.
Here's my problem with that.
Hmm.
When good fences make good neighbors. And when they be reading the demographics off of Houston versus Chicago versus Philly, I'd be like, we got a lot of black people that's like 20% of the population in Houston is poor. But I feel like because they know the other person might have a gun, they like, let me chill. Like there might be a gun on the other side of that violence I want to do. And I feel like when you have cities that don't be like, hey, protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like even, in Florida be cutting up now. Florida doing too much. But Florida sheriffs be like, "Oh, you want to break in somebody's house? Hey, shoot them." Shit, like Philly. I don't think has that
But the
vibe.
thing
It's like,
is,
no, gun
so
violence is
Philly,
bad.
well, Philly. The thing is, Philly is not New Jersey or New York, right? But or we
Right, right.
you can have concealed carry. You can't.
Hmm.
We don't actually. We don't have open carry. We have concealed carry,
Right.
right? And so, but the thing is, before people had to like watch the movie Strap back in the day, where you used to go to
Hmm.
Georgia to the pawn shops, whatever, get guns, driving to Philly or New York or wherever. But now you go to the gun show and buy components, bring it to the hood, and sell the guns. You got poverty. So if somebody knows how to do that, and they be
Hmm.
like, "Damn, I could pay $200 for this, but I can sell it on the street for $900." Like, yo, I can sell 4 or 5 guns a week, and they're out and
Hmm.
they're selling it to 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, right? The people that's getting murdered, right, and the people
Hmm.
that are shooting are not the 27, 28, 29-year-olds. they're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, right? These are
Mm-hmm.
just the kids that are doing it. And then, with the social media aspect, there's, before, if I'm at a party, you step in my shoe, it might be a fight, somebody could get shot. Now, you say something crazy, forget that street. Or you listen to a record, right, and repeating song lyrics in a song, and like these younger guys want to be tough, but at the same time, like there's like a fear.
Emotional.
Like a lot of them are shooting out of fear, right? There's an emotion. So there's a lot of issues going on. But the number, of course, poverty. You have something to lose. You're probably not going to kill anybody. So we have to address the poverty issue, right? I think ghost guns itself is an issue. Like, let's just give it you can have all types of guns here, but I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
anybody should be able to go to a gun show. And like every weekend is a gun show, right?
Right.
It's like you might get to drive an hour away, whether it's Reading, whether it's Harrisburg, or whether it's somewhere else outside of Philly. You're going to be able to go there, and these guys, they're buying these ghost guns. In fact, I think there's a stat like almost 40% of guns that police took up people in Philly last year were ghost guns.
And here's
So,
my problem
so
with the
imagine
ghost
if guns
gun.
were harder to get to.
No, no, I can't go with that. I can't, because every time I've been anywhere, literally, and y'all still have Jim Crow laws close to where y'all are. Like if I'm in North Carolina and I'm in Fayetteville, right? If I want to buy a handgun, no matter if I'm at the pawn shop or whatever, I have to go down to the county. Now I can buy a shotgun, I can buy bullets, I can buy pieces, I can buy different stuff, but I can't buy a handgun because of old Jim Crow laws. And them Jim Crow laws roll through Virginia, some parts of Virginia, not all. They roll all the way up almost to Maryland, parts of Maryland. So I don't think they're all the way to Philly, but the surrounding counties, the way the sheriffs kept black people underarmed is like, oh, you want a handgun? Oh, son, you got to go down and ask the sheriff if he can run your background. So even when you go to these events and you want to buy a handgun, the guy that sells you the gun at the counter has to run somebody's background. So we bring a grandma
Not
ID,
not
who
not
ID
not
we
for
want?
ghost not for ghost guns. And that's the problem,
Right.
because when you had to buy a full gun at the 7 day
Mm-hmm.
wait, background check, with ghost guns,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing. You want this? Cool, give me the money, right? And so
Right.
when Philly, but prior to ghost guns prevalence came. So Philly's a city, is like 1.5 million people, right? So last year we were like 580 something murders. Year before that, like 599.
Mm-hmm.
Year before that, like 483. And as the prevalence of ghost guns and the prevalence of drugs, both of them, because kids really, like, Philly been on lean for a long time. Like, lean ain't nothing new. We just called the syrup, right, back then.
Right.
But it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like Percocet, Love Boat, all these
Mm-hmm.
other drugs weren't as prevalent in the younger kids, right? As these rappers, like, it's insane to me that they got a song called Waukesha, on the radio. Like, I guess we had ecstasy too. When Ja Rule was singing about ecstasy, that was the
Yep.
radio. But
What's his name?
so
Spaceships over
um,
Atlanta. What's the name? Laffy Taffy. He was talking about drugs too. I mean,
I
there's
have to
several
remember that
real
record.
popular
But
ones. Yeah.
but so before Ghost Guns, like, our worst year was like 450 murders, which is a lot, but it wasn't hitting on 600, right?
Well, and here's the
A few
problem with
years,
that though. Most of those ghost
wait,
guns come from police departments. They may if I, Erica Williams, sell a gun on the street on the side to somebody, they tracking that thing down to me.
mhm.
They tracking it.
But right, but not ghost guns, because ghost guns is just the components. There is no tracking. They're just
There's
there's
no
no
there's no serial number.
there's no serial number, and
Mhm.
anyone can buy it, and they assemble it. Like, that's why it's an issue. You have no idea who bought it. Now we
Are
did
they
have an
assembling
issue last.
Glocks? What are they
What's that?
assembling? Which type of gun? Are they assembling Glocks or are they assembling a
No, so
revolver?
they are. There's no brand name. I don't know who the manufacturer is, but it's not
It's
a
okay.
Glock
It's
per
okay.
se. It looks like it looks like they look like Glocks, but I don't think they
Mhm.
are Glocks, right? So
Right.
those are the components. and then you get 3D printer switch, right? Which
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
so back so before I'm younger, if it was a shooting, 8 shots, 7 shots, like 13 shots was a big just a shootout. Now, because all the pistols are fully automatic, right? When they're shooting, it's 30, 40, 50 shots ringing out. They're emptying. They got 30 clips in a gun they already can't aim that's fully automatic, right? And so we have those challenges, but I don't want to dwell on that. Like
Right.
we have a new commissioner, we have a new
Mhm.
city person. Um, there's a few other things to tackle, and part of it is not just Philly, and I think most of the inner cities
Mhm.
is I don't think we really believe in our kids because I see the programs that they put out in schools and everything is to get a job. Like, oh, you want to work in a warehouse? Oh, you want to work for Amazon? Oh, you want to
Mhm.
do these things? You want to be a driver? Everything they put out in the schools and everything they put out at so career link, that's
Mhm.
our like job resources for the state of Pennsylvania. There's multiple in every county, right? And you go to career link, you only see jobs that are 10, 12, $13 an hour, right?
Mhm.
Maximum. If you see a job at $20 an hour, you're lucky, right? There are
Mhm.
these things. And so all the programs they put into the school are gearing to these low-level jobs that nobody wants to do.
Right.
But Philadelphia is the number one place in the world right now for biotechnology, but they're not training for those jobs, right? The people that are filling those jobs are not going to be from Philadelphia,
For sure.
right? I think the last time we spoke, I heard the stat last year. It was an insane stat that 1 in 6 doctors in this country is educated in Philadelphia.
Could be possible. Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
a real number. 1 in 6 doctors in this country.
Mhm.
Like that's a crazy number. Of course, we got Penn, we got
Mhm.
Temple, we got well, Jefferson doesn't have a school, but we still got Thomas Jefferson, right? We
Right.
got Villanova, we got Hahnemann closed down, but St. Joe's, right? We have all these hospitals training doctors in different fields, University of Sciences, but actually St. Joe's just bought that, right? So we have all of this stuff, and we have millions of square feet of biotechnology companies coming. They're building in the Naval Yard. They're building like $8 billion community down there, which is mostly labs,
Mhm.
right? And it just we got Spark Therapeutics, which Roche bought them. They are a biotech company, and they cured a certain form of blindness, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of AIDS research, HIV research. There's a lot of cancer treatment facilities, and so there's all these jobs coming, but the citizens of Philadelphia are not being trained for them. They are being trained to work at the grocery store.
Now, this is my problem with this. This is my only problem with this. These children are smart enough to get on this internet and learn how to hot wire a key a car. These same
Mhm.
children can figure out there's more than grocery store jobs,
But I don't
right?
think so, right? But so
Because I
the
mean, we can't
problem.
say the children are stupid. I mean, we can say they're lowly trained, yes, but these kids are very capable.
So they are capable, but they still need guidance. They
Mm-hmm.
learn how to steal a key a car because somebody else showed them, right? They
Mm-hmm.
learn how to cook crack because somebody showed them, right? They
Mm-hmm.
learn how to put together a gun because somebody showed them. But
Mm-hmm.
are the people in their neighborhood? They know how to show them welfare fraud. They know how to
Yeah.
show them how to get into public housing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that we don't have any mixed income community. Like we don't have a lot of mixed income community, right? We have a lot of single class communities. Like there is really like Philadelphia, is like one of the most um, segregated cities in the country, right?
Right.
And it's not only it's segregated by race and class.
Mm-hmm.
It's by both. There is really no mixture, right? And
For sure. For
so
sure.
the people that are getting these biotech jobs, like when they hear, oh, I'm a scientist, they automatically think like, damn, that's too hard because I'm only getting, C's in math. But at the same time, I put my son in private school, sorry, public school last year.
Mm-hmm.
He did for 1 year. It
You're
was a
brave.
disaster. It
You're
was a disaster
brave.
because it was one of the top public schools in the city. It was one of the
Right.
top middle schools in the city. So I'm like, wow, it was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collaboration between Drexel University, Franklin Institute is down there in the beautiful neighborhood that used to be black, that they got rid of the black people in the 70s and they
Yep.
changed it around. And so the neighborhood is gorgeous, close to downtown. It's right where it is right on the intersection of Drexel University and University of Pennsylvania. Beautiful place. But you get inside and they took so what happened is they last year or that year was the first year they had the lottery. So
Mm-hmm.
before you could apply to a school and they would choose pretty much who they wanted. If a
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood school, cool, you got to go there. But what was happening is what they found is that even the top performing kids from poor areas still weren't being chosen for these better schools,
Right.
right? So now they did the lottery and they
That's
prioritized the
dangerous.
poor. They they prioritized the poor zip codes. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these kids are smart, but they got behavior. Some of them have behavioral issues. They're drinking Pepsi and eating a honey bun on their way
For
to
breakfast.
school, right? Every
Sugar
day.
bomb.
So they're hyped up on sugar, right? They don't understand conflict. They bring in how you have that aggressiveness in the neighborhoods to the school where it doesn't be, right?
Yeah.
So they're the brilliant kids, but they're really they need some more uh they need some more help as to how to survive outside of their neighborhood, right? Because Philly, when you're in the neighborhoods, you are on an island. So as much billions of dollars that's coming here, the people here are not going to receive any of it. They're going to be
Yeah.
gone. So Philly, I said this years ago that I think that Philly is still about 7 to 10 years behind DC. I
Mm-hmm.
was in DC last week and I was wrong. DC done skipped the beat. DC is out of here,
20
right? So
years of
we right now, but we're still chugging along faster and more than we were. We still got thousands of jobs coming. But the housing affordability is an issue, right? And
mm-hmm.
and part of what I say about housing affordability here, and probably most of the country, is we have a lot of affordable housing. It's just in areas nobody wants to live,
At all.
right? And so you have
Mm-hmm.
these neighborhoods that are okay, that are relatively safe. So everybody piles up in those neighborhoods, and that's what's pushing the rent up. But Philly is a vibe. You just if you avoid certain areas, you won't even the most of what happen is your car get broken into, but you're
Right.
not going to experience the gun violence, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to the robberies are down, so you're not going to get mugged. If you out at 2, 3 in the morning, it's
I mean, it's the force of average. Once I saw,
yeah.
was it Wallow or Wallow's cousin? I don't know the names. I know it's Wallow and the other guy. When I saw his son got shot, I'm like, in
Mhm.
Philly, and they from Philly, and they
He
be
was in the
there.
hood. He was in the hood.
Yes, but at the
He
end of
was
the
he was
day, I'm
he was in the
like,
hood and he was acting street. It don't matter who you are. If you close to fire, you might get burned.
well, that's
He
that's
could.
part of my conversation. The force of average. If the average
Mhm.
environment is absolutely dangerous, get out of the environment, or y'all wouldn't like me. You wouldn't like what my solution would be. Gilly, thank you. That's the name. Thank you in the comments. Thank you. Cleveland is
Okay.
very similar to Philly. Yeah, there's a ton of engineer schools and training in Chicago and Cleveland. I was out there like, what? It was all these
Right,
like
but
super
but
highly
but
educated
people
jobs.
but people really have to. Here's the one thing I dislike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I read like a lot of the campaign websites people that are running, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always the same: affordable housing and health care and education, and we need more jobs. But nobody has a plan on how to bring more jobs or how to bring more people out of poverty. What is it that thing? Listen, if I wasn't a landlord,
Mm-hmm.
right, or I might even consider running But I'm a landlord. I'm never going to get elected in the city of Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
right? They hate landlords here. I got two evictions right now. Right, so I
It's
know
crazy.
I know I know for a fact that they're like, oh, you're doing evictions. They're not voting for you, right? But Philly as a whole, the opportunities are still here. People are still spending money left and right. The restaurants are full. Like it's a wait list. Um, there's a lot of great things happening. Like I said, there's more gun violence, but in smaller areas.
You know, y'all wouldn't like my solution.
So
There's a
what's
couple.
the
There's a couple
solution?
places
Go
in
ahead.
North Carolina. They built boarding schools, and
Mhm.
they wrapped up a bunch of them boys and put them in there. We're doing a technical training boarding school. They sleep here, they stay here, and in the summer they go home. And it changed the generation. It changed like in
So
5 years.
so
Them
so here's the
neighborhoods was
thing.
real quiet.
Here's the thing. I agree with you, right? And I agree with you a lot. So we have a school, right? It was the school here is called Girard College, and Girard College
Hmm.
it was founded by whatever name is Girard, a wealthy a wealthy individual, but the school was for poor white boys,
Hmm.
but that's what it was for. But of course, equal opportunity, no longer for white boys. Anybody can go, and the thing about that is the youth they stay there Monday through Friday. They go
Hmm.
home on the weekends.
Yep.
And the people that graduate from there do well. They have to get
Hmm.
out of their environment because a lot of time the parents are the children's worst enemy, right? And
For
not
sure.
even because they want to be, but you have a lot of domestic violence in the home. You got a lot of drugs in the home. You got a lot of alcohol in the home. You got a lot of distress in the home. Where the only thing you have to worry about being away is doing your
School.
schoolwork because you know what time breakfast, lunch, and dinner is. And at home, you may not eat every day, right? You don't have to worry about your electricity getting cut off. You don't have to worry about your
Hmm.
water being cut off, right? You don't have to worry about that leak in the ceiling. You don't have to worry about it cold. You're not going to hear, even though it's kind of in the hood, it's a wall, so you don't have to worry about the outside world, right?
Right.
So there's that, and we were going to get a second one, right? We had
Hmm.
the person it was a person who ran the Philadelphia Housing Authority,
Hmm.
and he, the Housing Authority was buying one school, and they were building another um, boarding school with it was a public-private partnership boarding school,
Hmm.
but he couldn't stop harassing women, and they got his butt out of here and
Self
nobody
control.
ever nobody ever mentioned that idea again. But I agree, you have to get these kids. Listen, getting home is not always easy. Getting home from school is hard, you
Well,
know.
and listen, I would be even like, y'all can stay the weekend too. like I'm talking about a full on vocational training. Saturday is sports. Just some of the programs I've seen here because a lot of the kids could not get home, right? So they had this. The facility had to keep having staff. The local community where it's at near Raleigh, they didn't care because they're like jobs. They going to work. They taking care of kids. They feeding them. They checking the rooms. They making sure nobody's getting bullied. People stay on their floors. I mean, nobody wants to hear that, but that's really like it's a neighborhood suite,
Right, I
and
think the one thing
you do
about I
one for
think that
girls and you
was
do one for boys.
I think Earl Manigault went there. I think that was in Lumberton, right? That boarding school. No, you're right. But so also we have here a school called the Hershey School, which of
Hmm.
course the Hershey Company, Hershey, Pennsylvania, they do have a boarding school for underprivileged. You have to probably get in.
Right.
But no, we need more change. Change the narrative. There's a lot of things that also need to be done. We have two HBCUs where one of them is on the brink of collapse, but we got to do a better job of supporting Cheney University and
Hmm.
getting more students up there. And back and of course, college college isn't the key to everybody.
Right.
I'm still an advocate for college. I think
Hmm.
you can go there and learn to be who you are and grow up. Kind of with a parachute on. So if you
Hmm.
fail, you're not going to fail hard. And you're going to learn who you are. But go away. And I was telling Justin the other day, right? Justin, Jay, my partner for Castle Bros. He always say college is a scam. Everybody say always say college is a scam, but when you think about it,
No.
in
Yeah.
reality, the people with the money and power got college degrees. Most of the people we know that are
Hmm.
doing well have degrees. Just
Yeah.
because everybody you know is a social worker and they're making $30,000, $40,000 a
Who
year,
told him to pick that?
then right. But my
Or
thing
criminal
is,
justice. When people be going for criminal justice, I'm like, are you gonna be a police officer?
oh no, we
What you
need
gonna be
that.
to be?
We need criminal justice, right? But I just don't know. We need FBI. We need Homeland Security. You know what I'm saying we definitely need some
Listen.
criminal justice
Well,
because
the what sparked this whole thing, y'all, and the reason we're talking about this is he put a post up where he was at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I could probably put the video up here, and he was watching the Hispanics now getting the Africans that are new to work the job sites, and I keep and this you didn't see the show yesterday, and I'm just gonna give you um there's a All Things Real is in DC. He's a DC realtor. He done made a ton of money. What happens is a lot of these immigrants get here for 2 years. They work for 2 years. They live at somebody's house. Somebody signs off as them renting a house from them, paid their rent, whatever, right? And they have on record they've been working for 2 years. Well, now they can qualify for all these housing programs. They're gonna buy a house, rent all the rooms out, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, and when I talk about 2 year progress, we're still over here trying to justify that kids are smart enough to figure out these phones and steal a car, but can't figure out how can I work somewhere for 2 years and then get one of these programs to get me a house. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want people to not say black people are that slow. I know we got some slow people in every environment, but these kids are smart enough. If you told them, hey, this is the play, because y'all love that word, it just means scam to me at this point. But y'all love saying
so
that up north.
right. So
What is the two
of
year
North.
plan for me to get better? You know what I'm
So my
saying?
thing is more than anything else. I think is like the squeaky wheel um, gets the oil.
Mm-hmm.
Where there are a lot of people that are really doing great works. Right.
Right.
There are a lot of people that are, as they say, pulling themselves up out of better bootstraps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do. Listen, I used to work in public housing, so I saw the good and the bad. You
Right.
know, I saw a young lady get into Harvard, living in the harshest environment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she ended up dropping out. No, she went to FAMU instead, but she did end up becoming an RN. That's what she wanted to do. You
Yeah.
have to go. You don't have to go to Harvard to be RN,
Yeah.
right?
You don't.
But so she ended up with FAMU, and she dropped out, came back to Philly, went to Gwinnett University, and now she's an RN. Right? I see
Mm-hmm.
people become postal workers. You
Yeah.
know, I saw one dude transition from a drug dealer to real estate investor. You know, he had
Mm-hmm.
like 13. When I saw him, he had 13 houses. You know, with no debt, not selling dope anymore. Right? I've seen another young lady go to Penn State on a full ride and is performing well. So there are the people that are doing well.
Right.
It's just that, but they're not on the news every night. What's on the
For
news every
sure.
night is the salacious, the shooting, the robbing, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. And I think that we had to figure out a way to magnify the positivity
Mm-hmm.
more, right, and have that take, have that part of our society, like really, this little boy coming in here, but have that part of society like really show more and taking over. But so my wife is a scientist by trade, right? My wife
Mm-hmm.
is she does quality assurance for GlaxoSmithKline.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're gonna hate this, but the last, not the drug that she's on now, but the drug that she was on before was Glaxo's COVID treatment. That's the
Uh,
one.
uh, the scam.
so, so she was working on there, like, so basically her job is essentially to make sure that the processes are done properly when it comes to manufacturing these drugs, right? But now somebody has to tell these kids that these jobs are available,
Right.
right? And even me, I feel like I'm a smart person, right? I went to private school
Mm-hmm.
up until my parents split in third grade, and when they split, the money was gone. My dad went this way, she went that way. My mom went the other way. The money was
Mm-hmm.
gone. I had to end up in public school, right? I did pretty okay in public school, but my parents couldn't teach me how to navigate the school system,
Mm-hmm.
right, to get a job or to perform well in school, right? Because I
Right.
did well, so it didn't bother me. But I didn't know how to study, so in college I didn't
Right.
do. I'm sorry, high school I didn't do that well.
Mm-hmm.
So I need some help. but whatever. But either way, my mom worked for the state. She worked in the welfare office, and then later she worked for the jails. Right.
Uh-huh.
My dad, when I was young, my dad was in the street.
Hmm.
Right. My dad was the weed man up until I got out of college. I'm
Hmm.
saying, but
Your
he
dad said he didn't
also
authorize this story.
right. You know,
Allegedly.
well, yeah, my dad died almost 8 years ago, so
I'm so
it's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but he was also a contractor, a general
Hmm.
contractor, right? And then when he left the contracting, he became an art dealer, right? He
Hmm.
sold art. Still sold weed too, but he was selling, but not he was selling pounds, but he was still selling weed, right? But he was right, still selling art. And so they went about life. My mom took the state, the state job road.
Hmm.
My dad took the street road, but they weren't able to help me navigate through college. Or I had no idea. All I knew I wanted to go to college, but get to
Right.
college, then what? Neither one of them said the only thing is I used to want to be an accountant. I heard my dad say it like, "Yo, he's good with math. He's good with numbers. He should be an accountant." But I had no idea.
Hmm.
It's a true story. The way that I chose my major is I was like, "Wow, who do I know is rich?" Right?
Damn.
And so it was the who I chose was Angela off of Who's the Boss. She was in advertising. So I became a marketing major,
That's crazy. TV man.
right? I had no idea. And my parents said, get to college. But get to college and then do what? And major in what? Right? And so it doesn't matter how smart you are if you
Hmm.
don't have gotten to know what's available,
Right.
right? We see all the time like, yeah, you should learn how to code. Now you hear AI. Well, how do I get there? Right? How do I
Right.
get to do that? How do I get to do that thing? You know, and even a lot of that what you learn, like during your podcast and your entrepreneurial journey, is a
Hmm.
lot of meeting the right people, getting in the right
Hmm.
rooms, and doing
Hmm.
trial and error, and being the willingness to take chances,
Right.
right? But you gotta have something to take chances with,
For sure.
right? And so now it's like, damn, do how do I make this money double? You want to start a business, and that's how you get. And I understand why courses did so well because
Hmm.
it's like, yo, this person is making money.
Right.
If they're gonna charge me $1,500 to do what they do, and another
Hmm.
$10,000 to join the community to actually
Hmm.
help me walk through it, I understand right why that works because the people in the neighborhood are not the
They don't
people
know
in the
shit.
neighborhood. The people that do well in the neighborhood get the hell out of there. So there's
Yeah.
nobody. There's nobody to braid the map in your hair to show you how to get to the North Star.
Hmm.
So everybody got to figure out on their own.
Well, I think so also too, I give our parents a little grace because I always say my family was like, "Oh, we expect you to graduate high school," so they didn't even stay after the graduation. They just went straight to the house to the cookout. I'm standing
Mhm.
around looking for when people stand outside like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. You graduate." Like they're like, You were top of your class. You were about to graduate early a year. We just figured you know that." So when I applied for college, didn't know how to do any of that. They're like, "We just figured you know how to do it." Now I've had all these boy cousins go on athletic scholarships, so they didn't even know how to fill out the FAFSA because they didn't have to. So I
Mm,
think we have a gap in we just assume, oh, you want to go to college, you're gonna figure that out, right? Like, good luck, right? Like, I think you've seen those memes where the mom come in the room 2 days after graduation. You gonna pay rent? You gonna go get a
yeah,
job?
yeah,
So these
yeah,
people are
yeah.
guiding these children basically nowhere because they ain't guiding themselves, right?
And also I say this all the time, man. For like over a decade, when it comes to black men in particular, right? They led us on two paths. They say either
Hmm.
go to college,
Hmm.
they either went to college or they went to jail, right? One of those
Or
two,
the military.
right?
Our
And
family,
so,
that's just what
but
they figured to do.
in the South, up here, they're
Yeah.
not going to military or like that. It's more
Hmm.
of a thing in the South. In Philly, ain't nobody going to the army, right? They
They
really
need
just trying
all
to
that
trying to
shit.
figure things out.
Mm-mm.
But
Too messy.
they took all the trades out of the schools, right? They
Hmm.
took everything away. Where right now, I'm paying all this bread for trade. We need more tradesmen, period, in general,
Yeah.
right? And so, you got to think about it. Like getting back to the matter at hand, we're talking about the immigration. the people that do the I don't want to use the term Mexicans because we call
Venezuelans,
we call everybody
all of
Mexican.
them. I
They could
know
be from Honduras, they could be from
Honduras.
Guatemala, but we
Well,
don't
you don't want to hire
we say
Venezuelans because they're not
we say
actually not skilled craft people according to all the other Hispanic cultures,
right, but here's the thing:
which we would know that if you
they don't
asked
use
them.
sheetrock in Mexico.
Hmm.
So how did the best sheetrockers become Mexicans or the Guatemalans?
Hmm.
The best framers. We look for framers. You want the
Hmm.
Brazilians.
Yeah.
That's what you looking for. Like they
Hmm.
get a trade and they master it, right? And they
Hmm.
master it and they go. But we use sheetrock. Why aren't the black crews the ones that we call for the sheetrockers? You know,
It,
and
it's a combination, right? So like when I come out here and let's say I see people working on a house, like there was a brother with dreadlocks working on cabinets. I say, hey man, brother, what's your name? You know, what can you do? He's like, I'm not the cheapest. I said, brother, I didn't ask you that. I said, what's your name? What's your phone number? How many other people trades do you know? He was like, oh, no problem. Da, da. And I said, if I was an asshole, I'd have been like, well, I'm done talking to you. If you want to be smart about it, I'm not the cheapest. Hey, you don't know who I am. You don't know what I'm
right,
doing. You don't know how many projects I got going right now. Like
yeah,
this is your
no
opportunity,
idea. And so
right? So when I go to those sites, job sites, it's who do you see? And if I see Jose over here and I go, Jose, do you know somebody does this? Do you know somebody do paint? Do you know? He's going to give me everybody in his Rolodex. And I know a Hispanic man right now that is from Mexico. His wife is from is it Guatemala or the country below? She's short. She's another country. But all his workers came from who she knew because he met her at the Rodeo, the dance club. So it wasn't, he didn't even hire Mexicans. All the Mexicans he know just drew transportation. So he
and
has a
listen,
construction
and
company built
also
off a whole other group.
and the Mexicans are Americanized now. The ones they had
Yeah.
before, they Americanized, right? And so
Yeah.
if you have you put the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to let you finish your statement.
Oh
But
no,
but
go ahead.
that's the
So
thing. It was a we'll be rocking y'all. So I know he got the kids. So I'm just
yeah,
trying to
nah.
be
So,
respectful of
but
time.
no, but why you finding that? So, yeah, Philly, we definitely got some issues, but most inner cities. Oh, you go.
There you go. Get the volume up. Sorry.
Well, now you got now you got the Spanish people hiring the African immigrants. Ain't that something? I guess the social tables have turned, but we do belong together, like my man Shirt say. Yeah, the Africans took over the Los Home Depot parking lots. Like there's only a few of them. It's like 30 Africans still out here. So I wonder how many it was this morning. If it's still like they all over this joint. I ain't never seen like this before. I guess the borders are open.
Okay, y'all. That I hope y'all all heard that and saw that. If you didn't, let me know. Did you all hear it? Did you all see it? Put a one in the comments. Did everybody hear it and see it? Put a one in the comments. All right. The reason I showed that video is uh there's a video I showed yesterday. I may try to play it again. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see? You can see the screen too, right? Yeah, you can see it.
Mhm.
There's one video I played yesterday. I might play it again. This guy made $22 million, and the guy came in and asked him what's a P&L. He told me I don't know, and he was
Well,
Hispanic. And the crazy part
well,
about it is you don't need to know everything in business. And I feel like a lot of our people like, well, I need to know this. I need $100,000 in credit cards. I need a this. And you're like, wait a minute. You need the skill. These guys don't be knowing that they have the skill. You just
right.
need that one part. You will eat forever. Does that make
So
sense?
yes, it make you doesn't have to have the skill. And so let me tell you what I see happening. And I'm a student, Dr. Claude Anderson. It's like hold on, it's my fifth book, Powernomics. Oh, here we go, Powernomics. Dr. Claude, and when he says Dr. Claude Anderson, he basically has been saying that basically immigration would be the downfall of Black Americans, right? from the
Hmm.
Latinos because they are going to pass us up. And he ain't lying when he said that. Like everything he said is happening, is happening. And so what I see it so right now, right? Oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah, they
So
got a Hispanic him 500, same coat and everything. It's crazy. For real. I'm not joking. I'm for real. Like he's skinny though. I'm not even being
uh,
funny. I then threw you off. I'm sorry, but I'm serious. They got a him 500. That's his Latino. Same colors and
oh my
everything.
God.
Making a bunch
It
of
says
money.
I'm brave 500.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, they got Ombre 500 out this joint.
They do.
So, so what's happening is the guys they speak French, right? So at first,
Hmm.
so Philly always had a large population of Ethiopians. Always,
Hmm.
they've always been
Hmm.
like we have whole neighborhoods, and then there's a neighborhood they're trying to change the name to Africa Town, and right, and there's a lot of Liberians, a lot of Liberians and Nigerians, not so much Ghanaians, right? There's we have a lot of Haitians here, a lot of Puerto
Hmm.
Ricans, there's 143,000 Puerto Ricans here, right? And then there's a lot like from the island, not Puerto Ricans born in Philly. It's 143,000 people born in Puerto Rico living in Philly, right? And then we have Dominicans. So it's always been that kind of diversity. But I spoke to the Africans there, so that was the Lowe's parking lot. And I
Right.
rolled by. I went up there today. I had to buy some toilet from a project. I counted 37, and this was
Hmm.
at 2 in the afternoon. And it's like, well, how many people got picked up for jobs already? If you got
For
33
sure.
people just sitting out here, they're willing to work for anything. But they got
Hmm.
cell phones. Yeah, they got Obama phones. They got the cell phones. They not
Yep.
doing bad, right? But they are willing to work. So what's going to happen is they're eventually going to learn these skills,
Every bit of it.
and they're going to learn skills. They're going to start with construction, right? And they are going to spread out. Listen, when I was in college, right, we lived one of my closest friends, one of the team that manages the Hamiltons. He lives in. I would go to his apartment. We used to laugh at him because he lived in the hood. I'm like, bro, why are
Mhm.
you in college? Why are you over here in the hood apartment complex? Hood apartment complex. Once again, we called them Mexicans, but they was El Salvadorian. They was everything else. Out there playing
Mhm.
soccer every day. And he was like, it was only like couple houses of black people, most of the people Hispanic. The people that he lived in one bedroom. Above him was three families that lived in a one bedroom. And
Oh, I believe it.
while we laughing at him, next thing you know, I see one brand new pickup truck.
Mhm.
Then I see a second pickup truck come through, like brand new
Mhm.
pickup trucks come through. And then I see him paint the Virgin Mary on the back. I'm like, oh, they getting money up there, right?
Big money.
They getting money
Listen,
up
they be
there.
paying cash for them trucks, and that's when trucks was like probably when you was in college, maybe 10K, 15K, but they was paying cash then too
They
for
was
them.
paying cash. Them trucks, they felt like 22 back then. They were buying like Silverados. They was buying nice joints, right?
Yeah.
And they was
Mhm.
working. They do all the lawn care. They do all, and they listen. You cannot find a black person in Bojangles. You
I
can't.
would not eat at that Bojangles. I'd be like, oh no, oh no,
No, listen. Well, you're
because
not in
they
North
make sure
Carolina.
they have a
Well,
black manager at least. They make sure to keep a black manager, even if
man,
they got
listen.
Hispanics in there.
Now,
Gonna be like, Keisha come out the back like, hey, what's up?
man, listen. You can't find. I'm in North Carolina. You can't find no black people in Bojangles, right? And so, but what they do is they work together. They
Hmm.
save the money, right? And they start businesses because one they have to because nobody's hired them at least for anything decent, right?
Right,
They
but
might
their
do
own
some
people rip
cleaning.
them off too,
Oh yeah,
real
yeah, for sure.
bad, real bad. Like they
For sure.
rather work for us than work for their own people.
That might have been the case in the past. I don't know about
Now,
that,
I mean,
right?
in Texas right now,
But
I'm telling you, like, you show up at the job site and I go, hey, anybody do roofing? Oh, what you need? What you need? Like, they about to jump off the roof to come talk to you. And you'd be
so
like, that's why I was so crazy with the black man with the cabinets. I was like, brother, the Hispanics outside tried to jump off the roof, come talk to me. What you doing?
right.
Come on, man.
And so what was going to happen is now that the Hispanics are ingrained, they have
Hmm.
their jobs, they're ingrained in the culture. Like they are, their kids are going to the best schools now, right? Their kids are super
Hmm.
American, like, and they already going to they're going to even the same school. They got an edge up because they already bilingual,
Yep.
so they already got an edge up on the Black American kids, right? And then now the Africans that are here now, they're from Mauritania and
Hmm.
they're from Guinea, right?
Hmm.
So their native language is French.
Hmm.
So now you got people that speak French and people that speak English. I mean, people that
Hmm.
speak Spanish, and so we're getting less and less competitive every day because when they're going to learn these skills, it's going to be
Hmm.
even harder for these kids in Philly. Even if they want to do the trades, they got to be able to compete, and they're not going to compete because of the culture. And the African Americans, like except for circular CEOs, like nobody else
Stop.
really really works together. Like if you think about it,
Even
right?
they tripping, right? But there has been that New York Atlanta coalition. They've worked together enough to lock up half the internet on that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I will say this. When I was in Atlanta, I saw a lot of black men on the construction sites this time around. I was very grateful to see that. But part of what we were talking about right here, Will Melvin said a lot of the metros offer free or reduced training prices for the trades. In Atlanta, they have HVAC training for free, and they still can't get them water boys off the corner. The
Listen,
ones old enough to
and
do it.
you know what's crazy? In public housing here, they'll pay you to get a CDL.
It's crazy.
They'll pay you to get a
They like
CDL.
get your ass
They'll
out.
they'll pay for the CDL. They'll pay for phlebotomy school. It's like a few things they'll pay you to do, and people aren't taking advantage of these programs. But at the same time, it's like people are like, oh, I don't be a truck driver. Somebody need to say, well, I know you don't be a truck driver, but you can make six figures. Can you do it for a few years?
Do it for a few years and then go do something else.
Can you do it? But like getting back to it, like it doesn't matter how smart you are if there is no righteous path or you don't know a path to get to this thing. Like a lot of this stuff is stumbled on. Like I'm in real estate because my family has been real estate for generations. I
Hmm.
understand real estate,
Hmm.
right? Um, I get. I'm trying to think like what else do I know that are people doing? But people just stay with the family business. But like the Indians, it said the Indians, like one community owns 70% of hotels in America, right? And they got the Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Yeah, they took the Dunkin' Donuts over. That's a wrap.
And they got the subways.
But you know how they got it, right? The minority loan program. Like
So
there's a black group that meets every year in Florida to encourage black ownership of hotels. But what is the requirement when you try to own a hotel? You either have to have years of experience or you have to have a group. It has to be like 3 to 5 members in a group. So how many
mm,
black people you know right now can go, hey, 5 people, let's go get this, because it can't be
right,
personal collateral on one
right, but
person.
here's the thing. But at the same time, if I buy a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
you think my family coming to work with me to clean the rooms and work the front desk at that hotel? Hell no, that ain't gonna happen, right?
Still,
But
okay.
they live in that hotel and they
Mm-hmm.
family they come to the Dunkin' Donuts, they learn the business, help them get
Mm-hmm.
their own. It's just a woman I used to work with, right? She's Chinese, right? I started buying houses before she did,
Mm-hmm.
and we worked at the housing authority together. She was a property manager also, public housing. Um, she started buying real estate. She didn't have a down payment. She joined. They have a community where it's like a susu where you put in money every month, and
Mm-hmm.
they loaned her the money for the down payment to get started. Her third project, mind you, short for housing authority, we were getting paid like 45,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband is a waiter in a Chinese restaurant, but they started doing new construction because they
Mm-hmm.
had the money from this
Mm-hmm.
program, this community. Her name is Mary Mock, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so they went and started doing new construction, investing in real estate out of this. Where as soon as black people, put money together, you got the Tulsa Fund happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like as soon as we put
It,
money together, the rug gets pulled.
and my problem with the whole Tulsa thing being promoted is like Jay Morrison, which again I get it, it's relevant to our people, But every day on the realdeal.com, I see 30 white dudes a day doing 10x what Jay Morrison did. Every day, walk of shame. I'm talking about mug shots. I'm talking about, HGTV dude taking 10 mil, like every day. And so when people are like, "Oh, he stole from these black people," and that's like our number one, I really feel every time somebody mentions his name, they just make him. And it's also because I have background information on the whole thing, but some people are using it to make a name for themselves, and I get it.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But if the truth ever come out that some of them people already got their money back and kept it moving, you gonna see some people flip some chairs up in this mug. Okay, so
Yeah.
my biggest problem is now this young man has went and bought it. Right, this young man has went and bought the legacy building, took the names off the wall, came in, did all that. We're not even happy about that. This is a 28-year-old young man who done bought the building is put a program for young boys to learn, and
I've only seen one person being negative about that.
I've seen more.
Everybody else, I think, has been pretty positive. I haven't seen any negativity on it, right? But ultimately,
Mhm.
a lot of our problem is even understanding what financial literacy is, right?
Yeah,
Helping me. They got people saying they're doing financial literacy. Well, credit repair and getting business credit is not financial literacy.
for
Like
sure.
let's just
Well,
start there.
even the people in the Facebook groups, right? Like I have a Facebook group for breaking in tech. 60,000 people in there. Every day, tech people tell them the 1 to 3 steps they got to do. People like, oh, can't y'all do it for me? This is the same thing that happens in credit repair groups. Out there, there's a credit repair group that's got 500,000 people in it. People come in there every day. I only check on it once in a while just to see if people still stupid. And they be like, can somebody just do it for me? I'm willing to pay to just do it for me. The DY books there, the reasons why, it's only spending 30% of your credit card. All that stuff is there. The Budgetnista went viral forever with a team of 18 ladies helping her push that thing and Jabril. If people are stuck on stupid at this point, it's because they want to be. The market has been overly like, here, read this or do 2 things. Just can you save $2 a month for the next rest of your life? You know what I mean? Like at some point, we also have to say, and I don't know if you know this theory, but it's like a 3% theory. It's like if you just do the 3% to the left, your whole life is different. The butterfly effect, right? Like just 3%, not a ton of change. Just if we could get people to save $100 a month, then their life would be this, right? Some of this has to be it's cultural, and that's the angle I got to take on. I can't agree with you on everything on here, but some of this is cultural.
Yeah, but I think it's only with the African Americans, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, right, the Ghanaians, the Liberians, the Haitians,
That's because
like
they have community change.
the Jamaicans, they all the Jamaican restaurants, as raggedy as they are, listen, are you listen make
Wait a minute, not raggedy.
no listen, no trust you.
They stay running
I
out of
ain't
food
listen.
though.
I ain't gonna lie. Look, oh, listen. I I order Uber Eats from them 2 times.
Oh
Never again.
God, no.
Never again. They're always out. I'm never
They
gonna Uber Eats again from
gonna
those
be out of
restaurants.
oxtail,
You can
oxtail
forget it.
juice.
They out of everything, right? But listen, I went to a Liberian restaurant
Mm-hmm.
a few weeks ago, and when I say this place was, it had a stop work order on the front window, like it
Oh my
had
God.
plywood floors. This place, I ain't gonna lie, looked raggedy, but it had a
Man.
line down the block. So like, listen, I'm gonna just pray. Right, I'm gonna just pray. The food was
Oh,
flaming
you
though.
you taking stomach
Oh yeah,
risks.
oh
You
yeah.
been
Hey, listen,
crying.
listen. If it's a line down the street, the food gotta be good. And taking that kind of chances, yeah. And the food was delicious. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a lot. So it's a lot of other Africans, right, supporting that restaurant.
Yeah.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have those things. The first negative thing that happened at like a black owned spot, it's gonna be all over Instagram. Ooh, don't
All
go
day.
there. It's going so this that.
Girl, blah, blah,
So
blah.
the culture is different, but I will say is like they say train up a child in the way that he should go, and he would have to depart from it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, if we have been trained for hundreds of years not to trust one another for good reason, it's for the same reason why Harriet Tubman carried that pistol because you'll know who to trust when y'all got to get got. Like something
Yeah.
happened, you ain't gonna turn it back because we know who you gonna tell, right? And
Right.
so African Americans are not that trusting of one another
Mm-hmm.
here. But I
Yeah.
will say the African American community I met in Ghana, all working together, getting together,
Copacetic.
right? I'm seeing the African American community out in Dubai. You know, I don't know if they're doing business together, but they live in there doing things. There's my homie. He was working in the Philippines for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he got so many. He legit made $1.5 million from people that he met out there in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they taught him how to get a government contract, and he got a government contract. And so the black community Philippines, and they still talk. And so it's just like once you leave America, right? I guess you're with the mindset of other people that are okay with leaving America, right? You're with that community. You know, it's work together. We black, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
work together. But in America,
Well, because we're in economic warfare here. I mean, that's why this whole series, I didn't change the title, but this is Wartime CEO series. Why is Caitlin Clark on the news every day?
she sell
Iowa.
tickets.
Think about
Hmm.
everything that she represents. Iowa.
It's middle
She's
America.
straight. I don't want to leave a small town. Fox News. I mean, like, as much as I'm super conservative in the fact that I'm like, the more, if I'm the believer in the fence, like, we black people, we can be the fence. But if we have a bunch of weak links in the fence and the fence falls open in that part, what's the point of the strong links in the fence? We can't hold nothing back if we got
Yeah,
a bunch of weak links in the fence, right? So
yeah,
I already see what they did. I already knew what was gonna happen. They're gonna circle the wagon. They're gonna buy up all her shoes. They're gonna. She's a symbolism for the last hanging on of economic warfare that we don't see. And we're like, anytime a white girl goes missing, that the news reports it. And I'm like, baby, you in economic warfare. Like,
yeah.
and it's a team that's losing. You,
Right.
you know what I
And
mean? No
so
disrespect. They're losing because they realize, like, population wise, the demographics are changing. I remember people when Obama came in, they're like, oh my God, they're crying. I'm like, because he's brown, right? Like he's wealthy and smart. Like, what's the problem here? So you're in economic warfare, and a lot of our people don't know it. So what do I need to work with? It
which
ain't
is
no
the
problem.
reason why DEI is under attack, you know, and what we what the smartest people in America know, the wealthiest white folk know, is that their days are really numbered when it comes
Hmm.
to population. Like as far
Hmm.
as having the numbers, especially with all them Africans I saw in that parking lot that just came over here. You know, we would sit up like that. And population growth is like things are changing,
Did I tell you about
right?
Georgia before you finish?
No,
When I
what
went to
about Georgia?
Georgia, all the men at this construction conference, it was a room of 60 men, all 40 to 55-year-old white men. Essentially, the guy was teaching in the room how to run a construction company, how to hire them folks, and be in control of the company. And you don't
Well,
let them talk to each other because then they'll just all just cut you out the deal.
right, it's
Basically, it was
divide
like
and conquer,
yeah. So I
right?
mean,
And so
and that the
and
classroom
so
was full of them, so full of white guys
and
just learning it.
where you from?
I'm from North Carolina,
No, what city?
Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, the best Carolina.
Oh, okay, I got you. So I was out Selma. I was out
Mm-hmm.
Selma, North Carolina a few years ago. And what I saw there is what I felt like is a microcosm. What I think the country is going towards, I think what the country probably could be, should be,
Mm-hmm.
is everybody was dating and marrying kids with each other. Like I'm not used to seeing like mind you, they were all at the lower, they were all like work at Smithfield,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
stuff like
I know
that.
what you're talking about.
But you know, a lot of the black people, the white people, and the Mexicans were all intermingling and they're dating. And so, you know, the powers that be, like things are the demographics of this country are changing.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is. And I think even politically, right, a place like for Georgia to be purple is wild, right?
Very.
For Texas even to be red but kind of tipping purple a little bit.
I think people don't understand how many people came to Texas. A couple years ago, they right here in Austin, and this is why. and this is my conspiracy theory, but the reason Austin's fallen out of favor is 70% of all the children in school right now in Austin are Black or Latino. So in 5 years, the city gonna be Black either way, and people aren't ready for that for Austin. They think Austin's very white, but if you actually look at the data for Texas, it was like 54% to 55% of the children of all the whole state were some type of minority. And then because of the white people that came in from California in the past since 2020, 4 years, it tipped it back. So it went from 55% minority children in all the schools back to 50%. And so I just tell people, all these teachers retired out of Houston, and people are like, why are all these teachers retiring? I said, because they go to school and none of the kids look like them, and they're not connecting, and they having a hard time, and they're like, I'm just gonna retire. That's why they put billboards up all over North Carolina, South Carolina. Teacher, want to come? They're not putting that billboard in the white side of town. They put it on the black side of town. Hey, you in Columbia, South Carolina, want to come teach in Texas?
Right, but here's the thing though. As of right now, you have the immigrants that are undocumented, but their kids are not. And in 20 years, all them kids they got citizenship, and they gonna be eligible to vote, right?
For sure.
And so, as of right now, for me, like when you think about the politics of it, we go kind of all over the place right now. But I heard this one point. We think about demographics and politics. There's no reason for Mississippi, which is 30% Black, to have all representation from one side. Is poor. I do think that we need representation from both sides of the aisle everywhere, just to have different ideas, right? Different concepts to hash out and kind of meet in the middle. But Mississippi really should be purple, and it is not. Like, what is the reason? Why it has the lowest education rate, the lowest, the highest poverty, right? The highest birth mortality rate. Mississippi like ranks at the bottom of every stat, right?
Yeah,
So
they gave up a long time ago.
So why is one side in control? So I think that a state that's really 30% Black, and it's not like all white people, right? Vote one way, or Blacks vote the other, right? White people are split, right, and Blacks will tip it. Mississippi, by demographic sake, Mississippi really should be a purple state.
But it's
Right?
who comes out to vote though. Like I don't believe
I think it's more
a huge number of Black
gerrymandering.
people.
I think
You
it's
know what
more
I mean? Come out to
gerrymandering.
vote either.
I think it's more gerrymandering than who conduct the vote. Is how the votes are divided. So where you got Jackson and Hattiesburg, those are probably going to be Black. But why is it that they can't get representation in any county? Like, you can't have one state rep, you can't have one congressperson, you can't have one senator from the other side. It's 100% R. So that means that.
Well,
And
then that's who you blame.
Right, but
if you say if it's 100% Republican, then the Republicans have failed this state.
But that's how you have things that happen where Brett Favre can take $2 million right out of a program meant for poor people to build a volleyball stadium. Right? That's how you can have
originally.
$8 million even.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So you take $8 million from the poorest people in the state for volleyball stadium. It's insane to me. But nobody's feet is held to the fire for that.
Yeah.
Even Brett Favre.
Well, and he sued ESPN to stop reporting on it. So, I mean, we're not going to solve all of the problems today in this one call, on this one show.
No, we're not.
We're going to, I want to wrap it some towards, as we wrap it up, on the making money side of things. And you post all the time that you flipping properties up there. You talked to us, I think, last show about learning the stock market. The other day when I think was in the video, something popped off, and you were like, "Oh, here come these daggone day traders." Explain your reactions to that.
Listen. All right. So for those that don't know, just today, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, they make microchips, right? They are responsible for the graphics, and most of the video games, most of these computers are having NVIDIA chips. And they are AI right now won't be it can't be as advanced as it is without
Mm-hmm.
not only NVIDIA chips but NVIDIA data centers.
Right.
So if you believe that the future is robotics, if you
Mm-hmm.
believe that the future is AI, if you believe that the future is holograms, you have to have microchips.
Yeah.
Period. And right now, NVIDIA is the king of the hill. And just today, because of the stock valuation,
Mm-hmm.
they are more valuable than Apple, and which is
All
insane
day.
because Apple just hit $2 trillion. It hit Apple was the first $1 trillion company, and then they hit $2 trillion like a couple years later, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have Microsoft out of here. They bought ChatGPT, and
Mm-hmm.
they went insane. Right, Microsoft actually is up like 100 something% in the past year and a half. Microsoft was 200, 202 around '01. It's over $400 now, right? And so, and then now Nvidia is the second most valuable company in the world,
Mm-hmm.
second to Microsoft, which happened today, which is insane. And the reason why I said that um, Nvidia, like all the stock gurus are going to come out, is because everybody um is making money. Oh, you got a person on here. Everybody, if you are a trader, even
Mm-hmm.
if you're a newbie like myself, you probably trading. It was Tesla. Tesla was going crazy,
Yep. Yep.
and now the thing that is going crazy is Nvidia. And so people don't know how to trade down, so they only
Right.
trade up.
Up.
And because Nvidia is still going up, and then they announced a 10-to-1 stock split, which means that, so for instance, an option for Nvidia, a long-term option, one for like two
Mm-hmm.
years, it was like $27,000, right?
That's
It was worth it. I'll say that right for one
great.
for
You can
one
ride it and you
contract.
just get out early. Yeah.
For one contract, 27 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But now with that stock split, it's gonna be 2,700. So now the casual trader or people that can't afford or don't want to afford
Mm-hmm.
$27,000 for one contract, they can afford 2,700. So they
For
are gonna
sure.
have the ability to get in and trade Nvidia, and I can't see they are just so far ahead of the competition, and I don't know them all. I think it's going to be tough for other companies to catch up. But let me tell you, I'm about to say this, and I'm about to say this one thing. It's going to lead to a whole other place. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to lead to a whole other place. The one thing that can stop NVIDIA and even stop the US is if the US keeps pushing for Taiwan independence from China mainly. That is going
I
to
mean, we
if
we
the
dibbled
if
some
the
toes
U
over there.
if the
Biden
U.S.
just did it.
and Biden is the reason why
Slow ass.
Russia bombed Ukraine. Biden is the reason why Russia invaded Ukraine.
He wouldn't
It's a
did it when
hundred
Trump was
percent.
in there.
It's because Trump didn't do what Biden did.
For sure.
The reason why, without getting all into the geopolitical stuff, the reason why Russia decided to invade Ukraine when they did is because the Biden pushing was basically pushing them, right? For them to not the UN, they're pushing them to join NATO. Biden. So here's the thing, right? And Russia, I'm not mad at Russia for invading Ukraine. The
At
reason
all.
why, the reason why is Biden was supporting Ukraine joining NATO, right? With NATO, they would have a U.S. led military at Russia's doorstep with key access to shipping to the seas, so they'll be surrounded. There's no way in hell Russia could ever let the U.S. have a military right on their doorstep. It was never
Mhm.
going to happen and cannot
Mhm.
happen. But
Yeah.
because Biden was like, no, it's cool. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. And as part of me being a geek, I don't know. But when Ronald Reagan was in office, right, the
Mhm.
Republicans' favorite president, when Reagan was in office, a negotiation, a negotiation for them to be able to unite East West Berlin and tear down the wall and break up the Soviet Union, part of the agreement was to never have any of them countries join NATO. And
Right.
here we are, 30 years later, like, yeah, come join NATO. Don't worry about Putin. I got y'all. Join. He could never let it happen. He couldn't let it
Right.
happen. So that war is 100% Biden's fault.
Right.
Biden could have said, no, we're not going to do that, right? And
Right.
so now, if they do the same thing in Russia, China is not Russia. They already against the U.S. said, yo, don't put any military bases on them islands in the South China Sea. China said it's called the South China Sea. These are our islands. We're going to do whatever the hell we want. And so they put up Air Force bases on them islands in the South China Sea. So
Yeah.
they
The
can
Navy's recruiting
easily,
for 50K, 50K, 50K sign on bonus right now. They
man,
about to go
listen,
crazy.
China is not Russia. China is not them. Russia's a superpower. China is different. If the U.S. really try to get in the way of that relationship with Taiwan and China, it's
Mhm.
really going to go down.
Well,
It's really going to go down.
Russia, Russia was debt free. So I don't know why anybody want to play with somebody that's debt free and has natural gas. Half their
And
country is
gold, and
nothing but
gold,
natural gas.
and
Okay,
gold,
and then on top
and
of
gold
that, you
mines.
saw when they wanted to run that pipeline through Niger. Niger, like, wait a minute, and our Nigerian counterparts were like, we're going to help. Wait a minute, y'all going
Yeah.
Nigerians to our codes anyway, but that's another
Shout out,
conversation.
listen, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali.
And
I'm
that's
loving what's going
why
on.
Russia put that money with
Senegal,
them.
like
Yeah,
all
interrupt
the
that pipeline.
francophones, so they say. And if it okay, without getting too far into it,
Mm-hmm.
is if the best thing that could have happened for Burkina Faso, for Niger, for
Mm-hmm.
Mali
Mm-hmm.
is Israel committing genocide in Gaza.
Ooh.
That's the best thing that could happen to those countries, right? Now, let me explain why. Is because all three of those countries kicked the French out, kicked the
Mm-hmm.
French military out,
Mm-hmm.
got rid of them. Like, no, we cool. We don't want you here anymore.
And usually France come take your president when you do that.
France needs the U.S. U.S. is preoccupied with China. They
Mm-hmm.
preoccupied with Russia. They preoccupied with Israel right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The U.S. is like, listen, we're gonna come back on that later. But in the
Table that for
meantime,
later.
but in the meantime, all these countries are being established, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Israel, the U.S., and the U.S. are causing the stabilization in the Congo, but they're using Rwandan military to
Yep.
cause that destabilization. They're
Well,
not using the French.
and Germans are going to turn our back on us because they have no choice. Winter's coming. And if you can't get the pipeline through Africa up and running, Germany is a cold place. And Germany's like, we'll have to help Russia put that pipeline back together. We'll have no choice because, like, literally, they're telling the military people. My friend's there stationed there now. He couldn't bring his family. They're like, oh, it's a 1 year assignment. We changed all the rules. You can't bring your family to Germany on 1 year assignment. And then they also told him it's going to be cold this winter. Prepare yourself.
Wow.
Like,
So,
the United
but
States already
then
said, like, it's going to be up this fall. Real sorry
right, and
about you.
then and right, and then you saw they got the new Silk Road, which of course goes through China,
Mhm.
through Russia, through Northern Africa, all through Malaysia, and realistically, they with the completion of the Silk Road and all those resources, they
Mhm.
no longer need the U.S. anymore. They still need U.S. money, but that's it. They no longer need because they'll be lifting more people out of poverty.
Mhm.
They won't even really need U.S. consumption once they bring millions and hundreds of millions of people out of poverty through the Silk Road. There's a lot going on. We could talk forever,
I
but
know, I
all that
know. It's
I'm gonna bring it back home. I'm gonna say to
mhm.
say Americans, we in trouble. We spend money. We talk all this cash stuff about the, as Trump said, S-hole countries. The difference is the S-hole countries, they might not have anything. They might have a zero net worth, where Americans have a negative net worth. So
Yeah.
our shit is shiny, but they
Mhm.
don't owe anybody. So we got
Mhm.
negative net worth, right? So they're really wealthier. They don't look like it, but the people in them countries are really wealthy. When they got a house, they got a car, they own that, right? They don't own
Right.
Bank of America. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
so
right.
yeah, things it's going to be interesting to see all of those other economies um, uh, coming on board. So what the U.S. is going to do, honestly, I think that I think we're in trouble long term, but every great empire must fall.
Well, and this is the issue. Like I always use Detroit as an example, and I know people hate when I do this. Detroit is a zombie of itself. I don't care how many billions of dollars you pour in it. It's a zombie of itself. We Asian me get back forth in this all the time, and that's okay. You can always make money off a zombie though. 20% of United States corporations are zombies right now, right? Toys R Us made billions a year, but they had billions in debt. So America will look amazing for years to come. And the reason I'm even setting it up this way is I talked about 38 the other day. It's a beach in Florida. It's Destin, Florida. That whole Sarasota beach, all that. You just keep going across. There's a bunch of beaches. The wealthy people have come and bought parts and blocked off parts of the beach and said, this is private beach. And people are like, I can't believe they doing this. This is wrong. This is wrong. I said, listen, y'all poors can go over there, right? They're going to go eventually. You're going to not even come into this town unless you have X amount of money and you ain't going to come on this beach. And that is happening everywhere. But um to kind of pull it all in and not drag this out because we could go on for this. The reason I went over to Zanzibar is I was on a big birthday vacation,
Hmm.
and as a kid, our families traveled all of the islands, all the places. We'd have been seen it all, done it all. I went to Zanzibar, and I was like, oh my god, they about to build y'all up. Now, originally, their president was like, nah, we're not doing COVID stuff. Poop, oops, he gets assassinated. Now they're doing COVID stuff, right? And now the Dubai controls their airport. Okay. And people gonna come in and build
Dubai
on top.
controls the Zanzibar airport.
It controls it controls Tanzania's really airport, but they help train and facilitate pilots and some other stuff.
In Dar es Salaam or in Zanzibar.
In Zanzibar.
Okay, okay.
The main country is kind of like, hey, we don't really need y'all like that. But Zanzibar is up for play per se, right? And when
Hmm.
I went out there, this guy was like, "Hey man, come over to Tanzania, come over to Ethiopia, come over to Uganda." Our church has been sending 30 kids to Uganda for the past 7 years.
Hmm.
Uganda has its own factory. They build their own car over there. They have a lot of beautiful stuff, but we end up taking our kids past all the city stuff and taking them to the middle of nowhere, right? For various reasons. This is how they do it. But what I saw is if you go overseas and you got a plan, man, you're rich like a king. You go overseas and you're building something, you got a plan. You rich man. If you're going overseas to be a tourist and trick off, that's a dead plan. That's a dead plan. Like when I see Americans in America, the best way I can explain it is like when I go on vacation, I see tourists who there just to blow their pocket and they don't care about nothing and they be reckless and get robbed. That's what I see regular Americans doing right here in America. When I
Hmm.
keep saying these immigrant people can come here and work for 2 years and then get in these houses and rent them out and have plenty of cars in the yard and they whole family
And
gonna be
send
balling.
all types of money back home. They
Yeah.
coming back home living great. So just so you know, I'm going to Zanzibar. I'm going to Zanzibar and Nairobi in August.
Look, we'll talk offline. I can't, my man don't be wanting me to tell the dates. It's dangerous to tell people your travel dates.
Man, listen,
We'll
I'll
talk
be in
offline
August.
because I'm gonna go
Yeah.
see you know who that's out there building. But I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
other people I
yeah.
know out there building that's already unbuilt. So
Oh,
there's a
really?
couple people
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
see. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna get out there and look myself back. So, but lastly, I'm gonna say this. For the people that's listening, um, you guys have all this information. Reach out and at least share the information with people that might not necessarily get it. Like when I talk to Jimmy, when I talk to Kamari, and like in their community, like they all already talking to people that have it. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
a better job disseminating information and opportunity to the youth, and
Mm-hmm.
not only say you could do this career, but you
Mm-hmm.
could do this career, and these are the steps to get to that career,
Right.
right? You perform well here, then you can do this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This career pays this, and then not only are you are more than your career, because if you get in your career, but take a little bit of money and put it over here,
Mm-hmm.
then eventually you can be rich. But the problem is nobody want to hear about that later. I don't know if you saw, but a couple years ago, I wrote a book and I put it out, and it was called "Get Rich Slow." Anybody buy that shit? Anybody buy it? Nobody want my book called "Get Rich Slow." I took it down. I put it out there. I didn't get one like, one comment. I was like, okay, get rich slow
You
is
got to
probably
give
the
them
wrong
a
title.
trick title. You got to give them a trick
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
Like the
You
best way
gotta
to get
like
rich, and then you don't
get
get, and then
get
they
rich
have to buy it
get rich fast as you can. At the bottom, like as you can, right
as you
here.
can.
But yeah, as you can. But get rich slow. Nobody put that book. Nobody cared about that, right? But the thing is, we aren't taught early enough about really anything,
Mm-hmm.
and without dragging this on for so long. So I mentioned my dad died, almost 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom had a 30-year term life policy on them.
Right.
That policy matured and finished up, whatever it's called, in April. My dad died in December. So she paid on his policy for 30 years and ended up with nothing. But some people say, well, damn, why would you buy a term policy? Because who knew? So listen, we're talking about, you know, we're talking about 1990, 1988, right? Or even before that, probably 1985.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody knocking the door and they say, here's an insurance policy. You
Right.
want, like, you know what? It's a good idea. I'm gonna buy this policy. It's a cheap
Mm-hmm.
one. It was nobody in 1988 to tell my
Right.
mom, be like, yo, maybe you shouldn't. That ain't it. That's the wrong
Mm-hmm.
policy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, but now we have the internet
Right.
and we have people sharing, and I don't care if they're using it for infinite banking, but get the life insurance policy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not this information that we just don't have in general. That no, you don't. Just because you make 40,000 a year, don't mean you're gonna be poor forever. Let me show you
Right.
how to leverage that 40,000 so you can live comfortable, right? But the people that what I see happen all the time is I help. I'm still a realtor too. It was people that bought a house. The wife made 110. The husband made 100. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
to buy a house for $400,000.
At the top of their
They
budget.
all they needed was 10,000 to close,
Mm-hmm.
and they did not have it. They
No
don't.
stocks,
They
no 401k, no
they do
nowhere.
not contribute to the 401k.
Uh, ugh.
All they do, they rented a house,
Right.
right? They both had a car,
Uh-huh.
and then the husband had a pickup truck and a
Mm-hmm.
Harley, and that's it.
And if they die tomorrow, that's what they got too.
And we had to push something back for 2 weeks for them to get the paychecks. So fortunately, because they both make over 100, like 100 ish,
Uh-huh.
they were able to make it like they. But like, yo, if you could come up with a 10 grand off of one pay period, why don't you have it in the bank like, all the time? They straight spend everything, right? And
Everything.
that's
It's just
and
running through
that's
the
what
hands.
America. That's what America is. And last thing I'm gonna say is my man James Carville said that America is a third world country with a Gucci belt on.
You ain't seen France. France is really a third world with blue jeans on at this point. Like France literally tells you if it wasn't for these countries in Africa that we got money off of, we would
Oh,
be
they
third
come.
world. And
They
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 already,
they,
I
they
mean,
cook. If they had to pay the going rate for uranium, because most of France heat is nuclear, that's
mhm,
why they're like, yo, Niger, listen, stop playing, y'all. We need that uranium, and we need it for the low. We
mhm.
need it. I know you could get $4 everywhere else, but we're gonna give you 35 cents, and we need that. And
We can't make it without it.
they cannot make it without it. France is cooked. France
France
is
lost 3,000 millionaires like I think 5 years ago, and they were mostly Jewish. The Jewish people said, "Okay, y'all gonna keep tripping. We out. Peace
out of
out.
here. France is
Y'all
France is
doing
cooked.
too much."
French is cooked, So, but listen, everybody, share the information, man. Share the wealth. We gotta do something, and
Mhm.
invest and help the next generation. Because otherwise, we cook too.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I think it depends. Some days I go on this internet and I just see black people arguing about 50-50 and going overseas and chasing Mexican ladies and I'm just like, all right, I'm done with y'all. I can't. But there's other days when I'm out and about and I'm like, there's still potential in these hills. If we could just tighten it up a little bit. There's potential in these hills. You know what I mean? Um and it's really the younger generation. Like one of my nephews is like, I'm not going to college. He has like a $7,000 lawn care business. He moving furniture, he doing all stuff. He's like, I can buy a couple tow trucks and I can buy this and that and just put a driver in it. I'm like, yes, you can.
You
Like
get get to it enough, you right?
but the problem is every kid isn't my nephew and every kid isn't our family has this structure of everybody gets a very safe, secure job, military, police or something, and we'll work that and use our VA loan. And it's a followable process because we're following adults who have a blueprint. So I feel real sorry for kids who have nobody to follow. And that's the one thing I think we both can agree on is like the lack of leadership and the lack of being able to follow somebody is really
100%.
hurting folks. So where can they find you online? Where can they find you bashing the gurus?
No, listen,
uh
listen. I'm still,
you be funny.
at Real Estate Coach Carter. I
Hmm.
still, I'm still on here a little bit, but I don't have an offer anymore, so you don't see me as much. But if I
Hmm.
had an offer, you see me every day. But I don't have an
Right,
offer
right,
right
right,
now.
right.
I don't have an offer, so just,
Right now, you just working on cleaning up the houses you're working on, right? Because you
yeah,
you
yeah,
had a
yeah.
post talking about you had all these tenants move out. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm cooked right now, right? Listen, I'm spending somebody's salary like right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm paying a lot of money and repairs and mortgage payments. But no, so I got one of my tenants. Speaking of violence, one of my tenants. Here's the thing, right?
Hmm.
I wanted her to move out, but not like this. But the house is a
Gotcha.
6 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, and the
Hmm.
Section 8 rates are insane. That house right now, she's only paying me 1,700 something. Section 8 for that house right now, the new rates came out in October. I could get $2,800 from Section 8. So
She got to go.
she's on Section 8,
Hmm.
but because of her job, she maxed out, so I could raise the rent. But Section 8, they don't pay her any of her rent because she makes too much money. And
Right.
so she's not renewing,
Hmm.
but I come to find out but that her son was murdered
Oh
and
God.
she needs to move. And I'm so like it hurt me. Mind you, like she would be with almost 10 years.
Damn.
So I had seen this kid grow. I don't know him. He's just a
But you
kid in the
seen him.
house. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw him. I don't think I ever even said anything to the kid.
Hmm.
Right? Except for my mom ain't home, right? But that's it. But for now, yeah, but and he was murdered, man. I feel so bad for her, and the family. So I definitely didn't want her to move out this way. I was thinking about trying
That's
to help her
awful.
buy a house, something like that. But yeah, no, it's tough times, man. But such as life, it's a hard thing. But black people, we gotta figure out how to stop killing each other and really, support one another, and work together on some more coalitions.
For sure. You guys, this is the Instagram page, real estate underscore coach underscore Carter. It's just easier for me to show y'all this on the screen. Reach out to him, message him if he's speaking, because you just finished speaking somewhere though. You did speak somewhere recently.
Yeah, for Joel, that was IBB. I got
Yeah.
something coming up on June with Bragg, the Black Real Estate Group, on June.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 19th. I got a panel with them, talking about real estate.
For sure, for sure. Well, keep us posted. We'll share it. We'll share it on the wall. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Love everything you're doing out here, man. Keep it going. You hitting Invest Fest this year?
I'm thinking about it. I might give a VIP ticket to Invest Fest. If I go to Invest Fest, I'm only doing
Mm-hmm.
VIP.
Because they
VIP is
sit
the
in
way
the
to
front,
go.
right? And
It's
they get
not
the
even about.
music.
It's not even about. It is the music too, but it ain't about sitting in front. Because honestly, when I go to Invest Fest, I'm just really watching presentations,
Mm-hmm.
right? I do it more for. I like this. It's like homecoming, man. Like everybody's there, that from
Mm-hmm.
all over the country, and I get to meet with them in powwow, and it's really the VIP night is where all the VIPs are, and it's like that's like the best networking. And then in the VIP area, that's where they arrange the dinners after the event, and
Right.
that's where I get the most value with the
Mm-hmm.
relationships and the audience, and not necessarily. I mean, come on, what is Robert Smith going to teach you in 45 minutes about? I mean, come on, like seriously, you're going to
I
learn a little
know,
bit.
but you know.
Right, right. You might get a little bit, but Don, people's not going to teach you how to be a developer, right, in 45 minutes. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get some gems, some tidbits,
Mm-hmm.
but the value, in my opinion, the value in InvestFest is networking. You got to think these are people that spent thousands of dollars to come across the country to this space. So if a
Mm-hmm.
person is willing to invest in themselves in that capacity, then that's somebody that you probably want to network with, right?
Right.
Even if they aren't doing anything now, the hotel ain't cheap, the flight, the ticket to
It's
Invest Fest,
Atlanta.
right? As you're in Atlanta, right? The Uber from the airport, $55, right?
Yeah.
That's just to go to whatever. But I'm a hood, so I fly into Atlanta. I hop on the metro. I take the metro. I take the
Yeah.
metro, take an Uber to the hotel from the middle of the city. I don't even take the Uber from the airport, right? I'm a hood. I'm just right on the L. The L comes to the airport. Why wouldn't I hop on the subway? It's right there. It's
Right. Right.
$2.
Right. Right.
Just jump on that thing, right? Like I ain't, but the value in InvestFest, in my opinion, are the people that you're going to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And if a person is willing to pay $1,000 or 1,200, whatever VIP ticket is,
Mm-hmm.
and also everything else, then when they have it,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be your customer, you can be their customer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing content, it's a great opportunity to do content with one another and cross collab. It's excellent for that.
Yeah. It's
I
a
don't
great time to interview people. Everybody's in one
It's
spot.
a great time to interview people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time to, like, you never know who the next person is going to blow with. You have no idea who
Mm-hmm.
that person is going to be. I met a person there. I forget the man's name. He's from Philly, but he had a shoe line. Next thing you
Mm-hmm.
know, I see. He's been interviewed up on EYL. So
Right.
it's like wow. And I met him year one, and it took him a year and a half, 2 years, but he was able to get his shoes in Nordstroms, and he blew. But you never
Yeah.
know who was going to blow. And so go there with an open mind. Wherever we're going, if you want to invest fast, go with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Take notes. Smile. Talk to everybody.
Talk to
Bring
everybody.
it. Bring it back lunch. I'm saying because them vendors outside, the line can be 2 hours long. So bring a
Mm-hmm.
bag lunch, or intermittent fast, whatever you do, right? But definitely talk to everybody, have your number, your phone's available, take pictures, whatever you got to do. Um, that's the value. If other people there is the real value at
I
Invest
I
Fest,
pretty much
in
go
my
to the
opinion.
vendor spot. I go to the vendor station and talk to all the vendors because I'm
To
like, if they
all
were
the
willing to spend
vendors,
$1,000 on their business to be there, then they might have something going on big you
right?
don't know,
No,
right?
yeah, no, that
Um,
that 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 VIP, and don't be like this. VIP, they gonna give you open bar. The first
Mhm.
year, I was obnoxiously drunk that first year. I was obnoxious. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
I was obnoxious
you was
that
sweating
first
everywhere
year.
because
Listen, I
that
was
liquor sweat. It's
obnoxious.
hot down there.
I
It's
was
hot.
obnoxiously drunk that first year.
The humidity in
It-
August is just like, don't do
you
it.
know, and then my then behind after that VIP, I went to where did I go? I went to one of them shakies. I went to one of the popular shakies. I spent thousands of dollars,
Oh
at the
yeah,
club. It was so I was
lost
already
it.
drunk. So I made bad decisions. So don't be like me. Don't go there. Have the right state of mind. But Invest Fest, yes. I mean, you made the only reason you might not see me out there. Oh wait, what's the date of Invest Fest?
It's August 23rd through 25th.
The only way you don't see me out in Invest
Full
Fest
time.
is if it crosses the time that I'll be in Africa.
Mm, well, I can't comment, but I will talk offline. But I was gonna say, last thing that I forgot to mention earlier was the Texas Stock Exchange. You saw that today, right?
I got to listen. I
Come
got to
on, it's about to be fire
yo
out here. And
listen.
Mark
I
Cuban gonna
might.
help build a casino. Pew pew pew,
I was
fire out
I was
here.
thinking I was thinking about the real estate in Texas anyway. But I was going to Houston. I might come to Dallas.
Let me tell you. Well, I'll just give you a heads up. Go on the edges of Houston. Don't come inside Houston line because they're very liberal. And they acting like the apartment association is leaning hard on the mayor right now. So the black people and
I
Latino
don't
people
I don't
had
want
to
to.
hook up,
I
and
don't
they
want
had
to
all
own
these
anything.
duplexes. They kept building all these duplexes everywhere. They was
Hmm.
black and
Hmm.
Latino people was like, let's go crazy duplexes, right? And now the apartment association like, nah, we don't need all these duplexes. And the mayor's like, that's right, we don't need all these duplexes. And I'm like, that was y'all
Hmm.
one hit, brothers. Y'all better figure out the next hit because or move
Yeah.
further out of the
So
city.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah, right. So, but no. All right. Listen, we'll talk
we'll
more.
do
There's so
it.
much more to talk about, man. It's like the world is changing every day, man. So we gonna talk about it. But thanks, Brittany. Appreciate y'all, and I'll
Thank you,
talk soon.
everybody. All right, hold on one second, Malik.
Peace.